Regan Slaymaker for International Boxing News. I have the pleasure to be joined by John Ryder after, a day of sparring, but also after some Christmas Day sparring as well. How has your Christmas been, mate?
Yeah, Christmas was good. You probably will see on socials that we was in here Christmas Day sparring, getting in the vital rounds. I've got a late January date, and the rest of the boys got an early February date. So, listen, Christmas Day falls on a Monday. That's a sparring day. So, we're getting the work in.
Definitely. It was a great rounds with George today. Obviously, I think I spoke to you this before. It must be really nice to kind of have fighters in here who are in and around your weight, and obviously you can help prepare them, but they can help prepare you as well.
Yeah, we're lucky. So much in-house sparring, especially for like Christmas Day and this week. It's a bit thin on the ground sparring. So fortunately, I move around with Connor, Jimmy, George. We're all in and around that weight. So it's handy.
Definitely, mate. Obviously, I do want to talk about your 2023. It was just the one fight this year, but what a fight it was. Obviously, you fought Canelo Alvarez in Guadalajara. Obviously, we're a couple of months away from it now, but how do you kind of reflect on that night in Mexico against Canelo?
A great night, and you know what? It's not about just that night. It's the build up to it, the years that go into it. Obviously, you say just the one fight this year, but that was like a lifetime's of work going into that fight. So. Yeah, didn't get the result, but what an experience, going into his backyard. And just the Mexican people were great, treated me fantastic. And it's got a place in my heart now for sure, but Canelo proved that I didn't think he had much left. He's still got more than enough left, and he proved that against myself and then later on against Charlo.
He definitely did as well, and obviously I think out of those two performances, I think a lot of people agree that you put the best performance in against Canelo, and especially in recent times as well. Like you said, you didn't get the result you wanted, but definitely put the Super-Middleweight division on notice that night if you hadn't already.
Yeah, I felt like I give a good account of myself, and listen, I've said it before, I got my nose busted in a second. I felt sorry for myself for a bit, and then got put over, and then just found something in myself and bit down and dug deep, and you learn something about yourself in these kind of fights, and you don't want too many of them, but it's nice to know that you've got it in there. It's in the heart, it's in the spirit, and you'll come out swinging.
Definitely, I think your manager Charlie Sims, and I agree with him as well. After the fifth round, after you got dropped, you didn't need to rally on the way that you did, but it shows the fight you are and the reason why a lot of people continue to want to watch you, John, and why you're such a fan favourite as well. Speaking of your next fight, obviously January 27th, Jaime Munguia. It's been talked about a while for this fight. I think it's been kind of teased for a couple of years now, but it's finally here, and buzzing to get it over the line as well.
Yeah, I think we was looking at it last year. I ended up fighting Zach Parker, but it was spoke about then, and it didn't happen then, but I'm glad it's happened now. From one Mexican to another Mexican, something about fighting Mexicans. But listen, I've won a lot of fans in Mexico, so hopefully they'll be supporting now in Phoenix, Arizona. But listen, it's great to go there. There's another fighter undefeated, not put a foot wrong yet, and listen, I'm going there to upset the apple cart.
You definitely are, mate. Obviously, a lot of people are taking apart, whilst like you said you didn't get the result against Canelo, but people are obviously comparing your previous performances and Munguia's last performances, and I think people are still kind of leaning towards you in this fight. Obviously, is there definitely a thing that definitely, with obviously a lot of the talk around that, definitely you'd be confident anyway, but it's definitely a fight that you're confident in winning as well?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, he's fought with 42-0, and he's not put a foot wrong, but he's not really fought a true super middleweight as of yet. His best win would have been against Liam Smith in my eyes, and I don't know what Liam Smith that was that night, because we've seen him in recent times be a completely different fighter, so I don't know if he was a bit fed up with the sport at the time, but listen, you still got to get the win, you still got to go in there and do the job, and he did it. So Liam Smith is a great fighter, so for me that's his standout win.
Definitely, I think I definitely would agree with that one as well. Obviously, there's a lot of discussions, and obviously this is sometimes when things like this get leaked to the press, it's not necessarily a nice talking point. But obviously, the team Munguia are obviously looking at that Canelo fight in May. Obviously, do you think, obviously, with that, if there is any truth to it, that they're potentially maybe overlooking you, and obviously it wouldn't be a good idea if they are at all?
Well, I think it was similar for me going into the Zach Parker fight. We all knew that the WBO Manchu would be called next. So, listen, it's all right being focused on Zach Parker and Zach being focused on me, but you've all got your eye on winning this fight, and it's Canelo next. So, listen, we know Canelo fights twice a year. So yeah, they'll be looking for it, but it's up to me to go in there and upset the apple cart, like I say, and and I'm not sure I'll get a Canelo Ryder 2, but just put the spoilers on that party.
Definitely, mate. What would kind of, obviously you've mentioned there, kind of it might be difficult for you to get that second fight with Canelo, but would maybe another kind of big name, maybe a Benavidez, a Morel, a Caleb Plant, would those interest you, providing everything goes your way against Munguia?
Yeah, for sure. Like I say, I'm not in it for a long time now. I'm in it for a good time, and the biggest and best fights, Munguia next, and then we'll go from there and we'll see what's available. But obviously, it'd be great to pick up a world title along the way. That's still a dream, and that desire still burns. But failing that, then the biggest and best fights for me.
Definitely, and I mean, long may it continue for the Gorilla as well, mate. Obviously, we were in here, my last couple, John, we were in here kind of a few weeks ago. I think Tony was away, and you took our Saturday session that I'm very fond of, and I asked you kind of what are the fights that you kind of look back on with most fondly as well, and you said the fight against Patrick Nielsen and the fight against Eamonn O'Kane as well. I just thought, why do these two fighters, of kind of all in your career, obviously, why do they stand out to you the most?
Listen, Eamonn O'Kane was just a great amateur Commonwealth Games gold medalist, and he come into the pro scene. I think he was 8-0, and he'd won the prize fight. He was flying. So for me, that was just a great win, a great name on my resume, and he was a good pro as well. So it was a good win for me. Patrick Nielsen, I felt like my back was against the wall. I felt like I was just really being thrown in there as an opponent, and I think he was ranked number 1 with WBA, and he was ranked highly with across the board, and went out there and did some damage. And it was, I think I surprised myself that night with that performance. And listen, he showed what a good fighter was. He came back again, and he fought Arthur Abraham, didn't get a decision, but he was still a very formidable fighter.
Definitely, mate. And I think when I was watching the fight with Patrick Nielsen back, I think they said if, obviously, he was a stand-in opponent if someone got injured in the Super Series as well. So I'm just gutted they didn't give you that. But you ended up fighting Callum Smith anyway. So
I fought Cox and then Callum Smith. So I got 2 of them from the Super Series. Yeah.
Definitely, and I mean, we all know what happened against Callum Smith that night, but we don't look back. We look forward, and obviously onto Jaime Munguia as well, mate. My final 2, John. We've breezed through these questions, but I do want to ask. Obviously, this is kind of we're at the end of the year now. I do want to ask kind of what's your fight of the year, and then your fighter of the year as well this year as well.
I think my fighter of the year would probably have to be Inoue. If you look what he's done in a calendar year, being undisputed at bantamweight, then now undisputed at super bantamweight, then that's a huge feat. Fights this year, there's been some great ones. It's what I was there to see, to be honest. I don't know. I'm going to say the same as everyone else. Cordina Rakhimov was good, and it was just good to see Joe go against it at times and get caught with that body shot, but just really bite down and go again. And listen, it was good to see Desire in Monaco as well. This is a real tough one. There's been some great fights. Terence Crawford, Spence was a great fight. It's hard not to put Spence as Terence Crawford as the fighter of the year, but I think Inoue pipped that. But that was a great fight. And I've really done other than that.
Definitely, I was going to say with Inoue, I've managed to obviously run the channel with my brother. I've put Inoue as number 1 because he wanted Crawford, but I did argue against it because he's only fought once this year. Whether that be against Spence, he has fought once this year. But John, that was my final question, mate. Any more final words for obviously everyone that's Team Gorilla, obviously supporting you against Jaime Munguia on January 27th?
Just thanks for the support. The journey continues Jan 27th, so please keep supporting and sticking by me.
Definitely, John Ryder, thank you very much again for your time today, and yeah, best of luck.
Thank you.